The 7 worst foods that feed cancer cells and inflammation. What are you putting on your plate today? Have you ever wondered why cancer rates keep rising even with so many advances in medicine? Could what we put on our plate daily be feeding cancer cells without us realizing it? What if I told you that many of the foods considered normal are real inflammation bombs for your body? We live in an era where food convenience often trumps health concern. Supermarkets are full of colorful, tasty, and practical products that promise to make our lives easier. But the truth is that many of these foods are quietly contributing to an internal environment of chronic inflammation. This condition is precisely the breeding ground for the development of several serious diseases, including cancer. In this text, I will reveal the 10 worst foods that promote inflammation and can feed cancer cells. Knowing these villains can be the first step to transforming your health and significantly reducing your risks. Are you prepared to find out which foods might be sabotaging your health every day? The information you will receive below can completely change your perspective on food. Let's get started. 1. Refined sugar, the white drug. Your cancer cells love. Refined sugar is present in virtually all processed foods we consume daily. This seemingly harmless ingredient is actually one of the biggest villains when it comes to inflammation and cancer. Studies published in the Journal of Clinical Investigation show that cancer cells consume sugar up to 50 times more than normal cells. It's as if sugar is the perfect fuel for cancer cells to grow and multiply rapidly. When we consume too much sugar, our pancreas releases large amounts of insulin to process it. High insulin levels promote chronic inflammation and create an ideal environment for tumors to develop. The shocking truth is that the average American consumes approximately 77 pounds of sugar per year. Soft drinks, industrialized juices, cookies, cakes, and even salad dressings contain absurd amounts of this ingredient. Sugar not only feeds cancer cells, but also suppresses your immune system for hours after consumption. Researchers at the University of California found that just 100 grams of sugar can reduce the capacity of white blood cells. This reduction severely compromises your body's ability to fight infections and abnormal cells for up to 5 hours. Think about it. Every time you consume a large soda, you're potentially shutting down part of your immune system. And the scariest thing, sugar is addictive, activating the same brain circuits as drugs like cocaine. But do all types of sugar have the same effect on our body? The answer may surprise you and completely change your relationship with sweets from now on. 2. Ultra-processed foods. What does the industry hide about their composition? Ultra-processed foods dominate supermarket shelves with their attractive packaging and irresistible flavors. These products are designed in laboratories to reach the bliss point of your taste buds and create dependency. A study published in the British Medical Journal followed more than 100,000 people for 5 years. The results were alarming. For every 10% increase in the consumption of ultra-processed foods, the risk of cancer increased by 12%. But what makes these foods so dangerous? It is the combination of chemical additives, preservatives, artificial colors, and high levels of salt, sugar, and low-quality fats. Many of these additives have never been adequately tested for long-term human consumption. The human body has not evolved to process this massive amount of foreign chemicals every day. When we regularly consume these products, we create a perfect storm of oxidative stress in our cells. This stress damages cellular DNA and can lead to mutations that eventually turn into cancer. Foods such as instant noodles, snack foods, nuggets, powdered soups, and frozen meals are in this category. The National Cancer Institute of the United States classifies many additives present in these products as potentially carcinogenic. Of particular concern are emulsifiers, which damage the intestinal barrier and increase systemic inflammation. An inflamed gut allows toxins to enter the bloodstream, creating a state of chronic inflammation throughout the body. Did you know that there are more than 3,000 additives approved for use in food in the United States? And most worryingly, new research shows that many of these compounds have even more dangerous effects when combined. 3. Processed meats. Why do top cancer experts avoid them? Bacon, ham, sausage, bologna and other sausages are classified as Group 1 carcinogens by the WHO. This is the same classification as tobacco, meaning that there is conclusive evidence that it causes cancer in humans. Regular consumption of just 50 grams of processed meat per day increases the risk of colorectal cancer by 18%. To visualize, 50 grams is equivalent to just 2 slices of ham or a small sausage. The main problem with these meats is the nitrates and nitrites used as preservatives. These substances are transformed into N-nitroso compounds in the stomach, which are known to damage the DNA of intestinal cells. In addition, the smoking process adds polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, another group of carcinogens. Researchers at Harvard University estimate that up to 1 in 6 cases of colorectal cancer can be attributed to the consumption of processed meats. The problem becomes even more serious when these meats are prepared at high temperatures, such as barbecues. Cooking at elevated temperatures creates heterocyclic amines and other compounds that further increase the risk of cell mutations. Studies show that people who consume processed meats regularly have higher levels of inflammatory markers in their blood. This chronic inflammation creates the perfect environment for cancer cells to develop and progress. The American Cancer Society recommends drastically limiting the consumption of these products, or ideally, eliminating them from the diet altogether. If you're a lover of processed meats, this information may sound discouraging, but is there an alternative that can satisfy your taste buds without the same risks to your health? The answer may be closer than you think. 4. Trans fats, the silent killer that destroys your cells. Trans fats are considered by many experts to be the worst type of fat we can consume. Artificially created by a process called partial hydrogenation, these fats do not exist naturally in our food. The food industry responds to consumer demand, so the more people demand healthier food, the more the market will adapt. Don't underestimate the impact of your individual choices. They have the power to create waves of change that extend far beyond your personal health. You don't have to make all the changes at once. Start by replacing 1 inflammatory food per week with a healthier alternative. In just a few months, you'll have completely transformed your diet and may notice significant differences in how you feel. Many people report noticeable improvements in just 30 days after eliminating major inflammatory foods. These improvements include more energy, better digestion, mental clarity, reduced chronic pain, and even skin changes. Imagine how you'll feel a year from now if you start implementing these changes today. Your future health is being determined by the choices you make now, in this moment. You have the power to create a body that is hostile to cancer and inflammation through mindful eating. This knowledge isn't just for you. By sharing it, you can help protect those you love from the dangers hidden in processed foods. The real revolution in health will not come from new drugs or treatments, but from a return to real, nutritious foods. Are you ready to take the first step on this transformation journey? The decision is yours, and the time to start is now. They love them because they increase the shelf life of products and improve the texture of processed foods. But the price to our health is sky high. Trans fats promote systemic inflammation at alarming levels. A study from Harvard University showed that it only increases 2% of caloric consumption with trans fats. This small increase raises the risk of heart disease by 23%. The scariest thing is that trans fats not only cause inflammation, but also interfere with communication between cells. This interference can lead to cell mutations and significantly increase the risk of several types of cancer. The World Health Organization and the American FDA have recognized the dangers and have been working to eliminate these fats. Despite regulatory efforts, many products still contain small amounts that do not need to be declared on the label. Foods such as industrialized cookies, puff pastry, ice cream, margarine, and fast food fried foods are common sources. Research published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition links the consumption of trans fats to higher rates of cancer. Of particular concern are breast, prostate, and colorectal cancers, all of which are linked to regular consumption of these fats. Inflammation caused by trans fats also impairs insulin sensitivity, creating a vicious cycle of metabolic problems. This cycle not only increases the risk of cancer, but also type 2 diabetes and cardiovascular disease. Can you imagine that a seemingly harmless ingredient can cause so much damage to your health? What makes this situation even more insidious is that many people consume trans fats on a daily basis without realizing it. 5. Refined vegetable oils. The shocking truth about what they do in your body. Refined vegetable oils like soybean, corn, sunflower, and canola have been promoted as healthy alternatives for decades. The reality, however, is quite different from what the food industry wants us to believe. These oils are extracted using chemicals such as hexane, a neurotoxic solvent derived from petroleum. The refinement process involves high temperatures that oxidize fatty acids, creating inflammatory and even toxic compounds. Most of these oils are extremely high in omega-6, a type of fat that in excess promotes inflammation in the body. Our ancestral diet had a balanced ratio of omega-6s to omega-3s of roughly 1:1. Currently, because of the excessive consumption of these oils, this ratio has reached 16:1, creating a state of chronic inflammation. This disproportion has been linked to an increase in virtually all inflammatory diseases, including several types of cancer. Researchers at the University of Sao Paulo demonstrated that rats fed refined soybean oil developed more tumors. These oils are found in virtually all processed foods, sauces, mayonnaise, and baked goods. When heated at high temperatures, such as in frying, these oils generate aldehydes and other toxic compounds. Studies published in Cancer Research link high consumption of these refined oils to higher rates of breast cancer. The oxidation of fats from these oils within the body creates free radicals that damage DNA and cell membranes. This oxidative damage is one of the main mechanisms by which the process of carcinogenesis is initiated. Many functional doctors and oncology nutrition experts recommend completely eliminating these oils from the diet. Is there a healthier alternative for cooking and dressing your salads that doesn't promote inflammation? The answer could revolutionize how you prepare your meals from now on. 6. White flours, the daily food that's inflaming your body. Refined flours are present in bread, pasta, cakes, and almost all baked goods consumed daily. The refinement process removes the hull and germ from the grain, eliminating virtually all fiber and nutrients. What's left is basically pure starch, which the body quickly converts into glucose, skyrocketing blood sugar levels. This glucose spike causes an inflammatory cascade and stimulates the production of growth factors that can promote cancer. A study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition followed more than 60,000 women for 17 years. The results showed that those who consumed more refined carbohydrates had a higher risk of developing breast cancer. The alarming thing is that the average American consumes about 132 pounds of refined flour annually. In addition to the impact on blood sugar, refined flours negatively alter the gut microbiota. A healthy gut is critical to a strong immune system, our first line of defense against cancer. When we predominantly consume refined flours, we feed gut bacteria that promote inflammation. This gut dysbiosis allows toxins to cross the intestinal barrier and enter the bloodstream. Researchers at Cornell University have found links between the consumption of refined flours and colorectal cancer. Another problem is that many white flours are bleached with chlorine or chlorine dioxide, which are potentially toxic. In the United States, flours are also enriched with non-heme iron, which in excess can promote oxidative stress. This type of stress is a known factor in promoting cell mutations that can develop into cancer. Is simply replacing white flour with whole wheat flour enough to eliminate these risks? The truth about what constitutes a truly healthy alternative may surprise even the most well-informed. 7. Artificial sweeteners, the zero-calorie illusion that can cost your health. Artificial sweeteners are sold as the perfect solution for those who want to reduce calories without giving up the sweet taste. Substances such as aspartame, sucralose, saccharin, and cyclamate are found in thousands of diet and zero products. Despite being approved by regulatory agencies, recent studies raise serious concerns about their safety. Researchers at Purdue University found that regular consumption of artificial sweeteners is associated with a higher risk of obesity. This paradox occurs because these products confuse the metabolic system and alter the gut microbiota. A study published in the journal Nature showed that artificial sweeteners induce glucose intolerance by altering gut bacteria. The disruption of the microbiota caused by these compounds can lead to chronic inflammation and compromise the immune system. In 2022, a large French study followed more than 100,000 people for 8 years. The results showed that regular consumers of artificial sweeteners had 13% more risk of developing cancer. Of particular concern was the association with breast and obesity-related cancers. Aspartame, one of the most common sweeteners, breaks down into methanol, formaldehyde, and formic acid when heated. Formaldehyde is classified as a human carcinogen by the National Cancer Institute of the United States. Research from the Ramazzini Institute in Italy links aspartame consumption to an increase in lymphomas and leukemia in animal models. Another problem is that these sweeteners can increase cravings for sweets and processed foods, creating a vicious cycle. This cycle promotes insulin resistance, chronic inflammation, and creates the perfect environment for tumors to develop. What's scarier is that many people consume these products believing they're making healthier choices. Are there any natural alternatives that can satisfy your sweet tooth without the same risks? The answer can completely transform your relationship with sweetened foods and beverages. 8. Contaminated food. The pesticides that are sapping your immunity. Conventional foods are routinely sprayed with dozens of different pesticides, herbicides, and fungicides. Residues of these substances remain in the products even after washing and can accumulate in the body over time. A report by the Environmental Working Group found residues of 70 different pesticides in conventional products. Many of these compounds are classified as possible or probable carcinogens by the International Agency for Research on Cancer. Glyphosate, the most widely used herbicide in the world, has been classified as a probable human carcinogen by the World Health Organization. This herbicide is widely used on genetically modified crops like soybeans, corn, and cotton. Recent research reveals that glyphosate can alter the gut microbiome and interfere with metabolic pathways crucial to health. In addition, many pesticides are endocrine disruptors, altering the normal functioning of hormones in the body. This hormonal imbalance is associated with a higher risk of hormone-dependent cancers, such as breast and prostate cancers. A study from the University of Washington found that people who are occupationally exposed to pesticides have a 41% higher risk of developing non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. Fruits, such as strawberries, apples, and conventional grapes, often appear at the top of the list of most contaminated foods. Vegetables, such as spinach, celery, and bell peppers, also tend to absorb large amounts of pesticides during cultivation. In addition to the direct effects, many of these compounds have a cumulative effect and can interact with each other, enhancing damage. This chemical soup creates chronic oxidative stress in cells, damaging DNA and promoting potentially cancerous mutations. Researchers at the University of California have shown that children exposed to pesticides have a higher risk of developing certain cancers. Is washing food thoroughly enough to eliminate these dangerous contaminants? The truth may make you completely rethink your choices in the supermarket from now on. 9. Alcohol, the inflammation bomb that everyone ignores. Alcohol is deeply integrated into our culture, present in celebrations, dinners, and moments of relaxation. However, from a biological point of view, alcohol is classified as a Group 1 carcinogen by the World Health Organization. Research published in the British Journal of Cancer links regular alcohol consumption to 7 different types of cancer. Among them are cancers of the mouth, throat, esophagus, larynx, liver, colorectal, and breast. Even moderate consumption, defined as 1 daily dose for women and 2 for men, increases the risk. For breast cancer, for example, each daily dose increases the risk by approximately 7 to 10%. Ethanol converts to acetaldehyde in the body, a toxic substance that damages DNA and prevents cells from repairing this damage. In addition, alcohol causes chronic inflammation in the liver and digestive system, creating an environment conducive to tumor development. Another concern is that alcohol interferes with the metabolism of folate, a nutrient crucial for healthy DNA repair and synthesis. Studies show that alcohol also increases estrogen levels in the blood, which can promote the growth of hormone-dependent tumors. The American Society of Clinical Oncology has issued a statement on the strong link between alcohol and cancer. They emphasize that there is no safe level of consumption when it comes to reducing the risk of cancer. For those who already have cancer, alcohol can interfere with the effectiveness of certain treatments and worsen side effects. Alcohol also compromises the immune system, reducing the body's ability to identify and destroy abnormal cells. This immunosuppressive effect can last up to 24 hours after consumption, even in moderate amounts. What's more worrying? Many people still believe that certain types of alcohol, such as red wine, are protective. Is there any way to consume alcohol without significantly increasing your risk of cancer? The answer of the latest science may surprise even the biggest drinkers. 10. Industrialized dairy products. What you need to know. Before drinking your next glass of milk, conventional dairy products are often sourced from cows treated with recombinant bovine growth hormones. This hormone increases the production of IGF-1, insulin-like growth factor, in milk and in those who consume it. Elevated levels of IGF-1 are associated with increased cell proliferation and inhibition of programmed cell death. These conditions create the perfect environment for the development and progression of cancer cells. A study published in the International Journal of Cancer linked high dairy consumption to a higher risk of prostate cancer. Men who consumed more than 2.5 glasses of milk a day had a 34% higher risk than those who consumed less. Researchers at Harvard University found that women who consume a lot of dairy products have a higher risk of ovarian cancer. In addition to hormonal issues, modern milk contains much more A1 casein than milk from ancestral cows. Digestion of this protein releases beta-casomorphin 7, a compound that can promote inflammation in sensitive people. Conventional dairy products also contain residues of antibiotics used massively in industrial livestock farming. These antibiotics disrupt the gut microbiome, reducing the diversity of beneficial bacteria in the gut. An imbalanced microbiome compromises the immune system and increases susceptibility to various types of cancer. Another problem is that the pasteurization process at high temperatures changes the structure of milk proteins. These denatured proteins can become more allergenic and promote inflammatory responses in sensitive people. Research from the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine links dairy consumption to systemic inflammation. What makes this issue even more complex is that many people consume dairy products believing in the benefits for bones. However, the most recent studies question this benefit and point to safer alternatives. Do all types of dairy products pose the same health risks? Are there alternatives that can offer similar nutrition without the same dangers? The answer may revolutionize your view of this food group so present in the Western diet. The power to transform your health is in your hands. Knowing the foods that promote inflammation and potentially feed cancer cells is just the first step. True power lies in the choices you make daily, in every meal, and in every trip to the grocery store. Remember that your body is extraordinarily resilient and has an incredible ability to bounce back when given the right conditions. Even small changes in diet can have profound impacts on your health over time. Start by gradually eliminating the worst offenders and replacing them with natural, anti-inflammatory alternatives. Prioritize whole, organic foods whenever possible, and prepare more meals at home where you control the ingredients. The journey to healthier eating doesn't have to be perfect to be effective. Every conscious choice makes a difference. Your body is constantly renewing itself, with trillions of cells being replaced regularly. By providing the proper nutrients, you give your body the tools it needs for this healthy renewal. Remember that prevention will always be more effective and less painful than treatment. Share this knowledge with your loved ones, because real change happens when entire communities are transformed. The food industry.